Well. It is 10 p.m. on a Monday night in the UK. My name is Dan. Welcome to FPL Mate. And Chelsea have just beaten Everton 5-0. Who saw that coming? I'm sure nobody. I've just realised my lights are not on in the background. We need to get that purple hue glow going on in the background. Because, wow, what a game. Cole Palmer, guys. 4 goals. 4. That is mental. That is crazy. I can't believe it. Did anyone out there have him captain? If you have Cole Palmer captain, now is the time to celebrate and gloat about that one, I think. Those are the moments that FPL was all about. These are memories in FPL you will not forget. 6-0, yeah, of course. I forgot there was a goal at the end. 6-0. God, 6-0. Who saw that coming? Chat's going wild. 6-0, Dan. 6-0. Yes, apologies. Who had Cole Palmer captain then? I can tell you who did have Cole Palmer captain. Well, technically no. But my wife, my dear Mrs. FPL Mate, had Phil Foden as her captain this game week. Who was her vice captain, do you think? Cole Palmer. How about that? I tell you what, it's far more important to be lucky in FPL than it is to be good in FPL. That is for sure. It really, really is for sure. But we are back at it again for Game Week 34. A few things I want to talk about today. Hope you don't mind. We'll be taking plenty of questions, of course, and answering what you guys want to talk about as well on this strategy stream, because we haven't done one of these in a while, and it's good to have like a little debrief and look ahead to the game week ahead without the chaos of the deadline. I do enjoy these streams a lot, and I hope you guys do too. Of course, if you do, make sure you are dropping those likes, make sure you are subscribing and stuff like that. A little bit of luck and good fortune for me as well. For actually, you can't even see right now. Hang on, let's sort that one out. Prepared as always, Dan. You will notice that my first substitute for Foden was Eberechi Eze. So, yeah, a lot of poor luck, I guess, with benches and auto subs for me in the past. But I tell you what, that's not the case this game week. I've been very, very fortunate with that one. With the Eze 10-pointer coming off the bench, it's going to leave me with, I believe, 71 points after auto subs and that kind of stuff, 71 points, which is okay. It's not too bad. I don't think it's going to get me a green arrow because of all of you Palmer captainers out there really, really going crazy. I think a lot of you guys had Palmer vice captain by the looks of things. That is so jammy. That is so jammy. Crazy, crazy stuff. Love it, though. Absolutely love it. That's what FPL's all about. Guys, I want to first of all talk about, I know everyone in the live chat is probably very hyped up about Cole Palmer, and I'm sure that's all you want to talk about right now, but we've got to respect the people watching this as a replay as well, and I'm sure they're probably a bit bored. If you're watching this on Tuesday morning or Tuesday afternoon, you're probably completely bored about all the Cole Palmer talk by this point. We may talk about him a little bit later on in the stream, but one thing I did think we'd talk about today, and I did want to put this one out there, because it is important that we do address this, is of course we did have a situation. I'm going to bring up, I guess we'll bring up this, this kind of situation that we had with the team leaks, on Saturday morning. Of course, we did get a team leak on Saturday morning, and we're talking, of course, about Phil Foden. We got the leak that Foden was going to be starting against Luton Town, and I'm sure a lot of people who are vice captain Cole Palmer or maybe have Eze on the bench aren't complaining about this too much right now, but a lot of people left really, really disappointed when it turned out that Foden, even though all of the leaks were saying, many different sources, many different leakers were saying that Foden was starting, it ended up being the case that Foden was very much not starting, very much on the bench, which caused a big problem. It caused a big ruckus. A lot of people were very upset, very, very angry about the leaks. So let's start by saying this. Now, when we put the leaks out there, and I have to, as a FPL content creator, I definitely do have to take some responsibility here and say, guys, I shared the leak, and I was confident in that leak as well. I was very confident in that leak. But I always say this whenever we do the team leaks on a Saturday morning or via Twitter or whatever, because I sometimes have the odd leak myself on my Twitter page. we do have to always caveat it with, and I do say this, but I really do need to re-emphasize this, as there is no such thing as an 100% league until the team sheets come out at 1 hour before kickoff. There is no such thing as an 100% league, ever. No way. And you could even say, you know, if a player gets injured in the warm-up, then even those team sheets aren't 100% accurate, and they never will be. And that's something that you kind of have to, something you have to accept as you play with the leaks, really. And you kind of have this decision to make. And obviously, there's a lot of disappointment going around right now, and I understand that completely. I really do. But what you have to understand is that if you are choosing to take the advice of the leaks, you do so knowing that there is never going to be 100%, and you have to be okay with that. Now, I would personally advise, and my stance has not changed on this one, my personal advice is to listen to the leaks as long as they're reliable. And for me personally, I know who the reliable accounts are now. I know who I should trust, who I shouldn't trust, and I will only ever tell you guys who I personally trust, who I would be willing to act upon. And it's not going to be 100% correct 100% of the time. It's just not. That's just not how it works. But if it is 90%, 95% accurate, that's good enough, because that gives you enough of an advantage. It gives you enough of information. You know, going in blind on the Foden situation, 9 times out of 10, we were going to get correct information out of that, and we would have benefited from that. On this occasion, we didn't. On this occasion, we really didn't, and it's unfortunate. But I do really want to re-emphasize that every time, you know, I'm posting these leaks, I'm sharing these leaks, I'm reposting, I'm sharing what I've seen. It is always from accounts that are right 99% of the time. And the accounts that leaked the Foden thing, again, were accounts that are right 99% of the time. It would be irresponsible, in my opinion, to not share that information. If I know a leak is 99% accurate and I don't share that with you guys, then I think that's worse. I honestly think that's worse. And I know it looks bad, and you know, you get situations where I'm sitting here kind of maybe apologizing to you guys, because you know, look, I am sorry if I am genuinely sorry if you followed the leaks thinking it was going to be 100% accurate. Maybe I need to do more in emphasizing that there is it is never going to be 100%. I try and do that, but maybe I could do more, and I will try and do more in the future, so you guys never feel like, you know, you're being misled. But a big thing we just need to remember is that the leaks that we do follow on this channel, they are always done so with the best intentions 100% of the time. This is not about clout chasing. This is not about you know, trying to deceive, or, you know, I don't know, anything like that. It is just because we want to do well at FPL, and to do well in FPL, we have got to kind of use and benefit from the best information we have available. And the best information we have available is not always going to be 100% like perfect kind of information, but we will do our best, and we'll share the best we have with you. And I think that's super important that we do continue to do so. So, of course, I understand if the next time we share a team leak, we share some news, I will 100% understand if you want to sit there and say, I don't trust it, I don't buy it, I'm not going to get drawn into this one. Completely fair enough. It is completely fair enough. Now, what I should say, you know, the account I shared, I think they've got something wrong twice in 2 years. That's an insane record for accurate leaks. Two incorrect leaks in 2 years, and we're talking about every game week leaks, and only 2 of them over the past 2 seasons have been inaccurate. That's amazing. For me, that's amazing, and I'll continue to use that information. I think it's really important. But a few things that happen is sometimes things do change. A lot of the leaks that we do see, particularly the earlier leaks, they are initial team sheets, initial expected lineups for the teams, and then sometimes things can change, late fitness tests, things like that. Sometimes, you know, some people have suggested, and this has happened before, is that we will see that leakers will be trapped, essentially. You know, the traps will be set for leakers in, like, for example, Man City. They have a real big problem with leakers this season. So some people have maybe suggested that maybe that maybe it's just a case of, you know, the team at Man City have purposely fed some misinformation to kind of root out who the leakers are. That has happened before. We've seen that before in the Premier League. Leaks have become a big thing. They have. Whether you like it or not, they are part of the game now. And I think the only way things are going to change is if the deadlines change. But I'm really not going to be the one to kind of sit here and say what should be done about that. That's not really up to me. Just looking through the chat, Mark says there was no good reason for you to not share that leak. Absolutely, I completely agree. You know, if a particular leaker has been wrong twice in 2 years, that's good enough for me. It really is. Aaron says, just jumped on, mate, a leak is a leak. You don't offer a money-back guarantee, neither should you. I guess so. But I also appreciate people's right to feel disappointed. Because you are justified. You are justified. JS said you'll have the advantage for years. Definitely not, man. Definitely not. I mean, I've barely got any team leagues. I mean, I've been offered team leagues before, like you know, to pay money for team leagues. But I don't really want to be the guy who's paying money for team leagues. There's nothing like that. Sometimes I'll get something from people I know, but very rarely. Sometimes some Arsenal stuff, which is pretty good. But no, if I do get a leak, I'll just tell you guys very, very directly. But there we go. Linus says just continue to post reliable news leaks. It's up to the individual on if they act upon it. We're all adults here. Fair enough. I'll just continue as we are, I suppose. And yeah, as long as you guys are happy. Like, I appreciate if you don't want to act on the leaks, but I think it's my responsibility to kind of share any good information we have. And guys, if you have any comments or suggestions or how we can deal with these situations slightly differently, please do let me know. And because we still want to do our best here, and if we're not doing our best at the FPL Mate YouTube channel, FPL Mate headquarters, which is literally just a room in my house, then yeah, let me know, and we'll try and do a better thing. But yeah, honestly, I just want to just reassure you guys that, you know, whenever I do share leaks on this channel and this, that, and the other, I genuinely do so with the best intentions. I would never intend to mislead you guys. I know when it's frustrating, you often try and find someone to blame. I've definitely been guilty of doing that in the past myself. And if you really do need to blame me, I guess I get it. And I think I'll do better to ensure you guys that nothing is ever 100%, because yeah, I think that's probably the best way of dealing with the situation, so that people can still get their leaks. And yeah, we don't need to worry about it too much. But yeah, look, if we've got nothing more to say on that one, I'm sure some people have some very negative things to say about that one. That's fair enough. It's okay. Yeah, let's move on. Right. Okay, so Gameweek 34 is a double game week, and you can tell it's a double game week because because on this side of the screen here, guys, I put all of the fixtures and they barely even fit. We've got a jumbo, mega jam-packed double game week, and it's going to be a fun one. It's definitely going to be a fun one. So we need to talk about some picks for this game week. I'm going to share with you my team as it looks like right now, and I've got 2 free transfers. We've got something to deal with, I suppose. I think Kelleher is just not going to be an option, I suppose, right this very second. I guess my team looks something like this, but with 2 free transfers. Those of you asking for a free hit, by the way, we dropped a free hit video yesterday, actually. So you can go check that out if you'd like to. Full guide on free hit, all the best picks, as well as a draft at the end of that video as well. Do go check it out. But yeah, I think the original plan for me was to do Kelleher to Raya and double up on that Arsenal defence, and then to go Foden to Luis Diaz. Of course, I'm going to be wildcarding in Gameweek 35 as well, which I do actually have a draft to share with you guys as well. But this is what my team could potentially look like, which would be at 10 doublers plus Haaland, potentially plus Palmer, but no, I think it'll be plus Haaland, Palmer on the bench. It would be a team of Raya, Gabriel, Zabani, Aït-Nouri in defence there. In midfield, we'd have Saka, Eze, Salah, Luis Diaz, and up front, Solanke, Darwin, Haaland, which I think is pretty decent. considering it's not a free hit team, because I think it probably looks pretty close to a free hit team, and maybe there's some certain things you might change about it. I mean, for me personally, I think I would probably actually quite like to have a Liverpool defender. I can't really figure out a way of doing that with my personal team, but it is something I wouldn't mind attempting to do somehow. But yeah, not really sure how that's going to be possible. I'll have to figure that out. Might even have to move early on my transfers as well because of budgetary constraints, but we'll have to see about that one, I suppose. Could also maybe do things slightly differently. I could maybe also do maybe a Zabani to an Arsenal defender and stick Neto in goal instead of this would actually be a Stupinian to an Arsenal defender, Zabani on the bench, Neto in goal. That's also a possibility as well. I guess we'll see. Yeah, need to kind of figure that out. But it's an interesting one. Like I wanted to actually share with you my my Wildcard 35 team that I've drafted so far, because I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, but I thought this was pretty exciting to kind of try this out. So this is what I came up with. We're on the Fantasy Football Hub website, of course. Link in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. This is my planned wildcard for Game Week 35 at time of recording. I know it says I don't have enough money in the bank, but just trust me, I do. And some spare as well. And I think this looks pretty good. We've got a triple up on Spurs. And I know we've got double up on Spurs, sorry. With Doggy and Son. We've got a triple up on Chelsea. Gusto, Palmer, Nicholas Jackson. I think that's probably where you go for your triple up now. If you want to triple up on Chelsea, that's probably where you go. Triple up on Newcastle, Gordon and Isak, pretty easy choices there. We've got Burn. I was actually looking through the numbers today, and Burn is actually, hang on, I'll just show you. Burn is actually putting up some pretty decent attacking numbers for a defender. So what I did was I just went like this on the Opta Stats tool. On expected goal involvements for all defenders across this entire season to try and get some long-term data, or longer-term data at least. Let's just take this to 50 top results. You can see Dan Burn reasonably high here. 2.92 expected goals, 0.99 expected assists across the season. That's higher, slightly higher than Fabian Schär. I know Fabian Schär's got more, but for 1.1 million cheaper, to actually get better underlying numbers, not too bad. Not too bad. Definitely thinking about Trippier. It depends on his fitness, though, largely. Lewis Dunk, very, very good attacking numbers for him as well. So looking to go for him. Obviously, you've got the likes of Doggy, Pedro Porro. All of these players we're talking about all have doubles in 37, which is something I'm targeting. Many of them have 35 doubles as well. Malo Gusto, pretty decent, particularly for his minutes. Really, really good. Let's just go per appearance. See if that helps the numbers at all. Or should we go per 90? Who's like up there per 90 if we hide the low minutes players? Yes. Trippier, Pedro Porro, Gusto, Dunk, Doggy. Usual suspects, guys. Usual suspects. So yeah, I think there is some options there to get some potential attacking points there. So yeah, that's Game Week 35 for you. Let's circle back to Game Week 34. Because I know that's what's going on right now. And I want to go on the points prediction tool and just look at Game Week 34 in isolation and see who the highest predicted points are. So they've adjusted this with the latest data, and Eberechi Eze has gone to second, suggesting that Eberechi Eze is the second best pick for Game Week 34. Now, I know a lot of you guys are looking for new players for 34, whether you're on a free hit or whether you're just making your transfers. Is Eze a player you're thinking about? Is Eze essential? I'm putting it out there. Maybe. Genuinely, maybe. Like, what do you think? Is Eze essential? Let's make a poll, actually. Is Eze essential for Game Week 34? And is he a potential captain option as well? A lot of people not really fancying Salah at the moment. Is Eze an alternative captain? I think a lot of people would naturally go towards a Saka or a Havertz, pick a player from a big team. That's usually a sensible thing to do. But Eze's fixtures, West Ham at home, Newcastle at home. When Eze and Elise are playing together, you know, they're a different beast. They look really good against Liverpool. Mateta looked good as well. So I think there's definitely some opportunity there from the Crystal Palace attack. It looks really, really solid. Kabalash says, Dan, do you think Elise will start in both games? Honestly, no. Honestly, no. You know, they probably don't want to rush him back too much. I think he'll definitely play a part in both games. I think you've definitely got a chance of him getting 2 games. But even if he does start, you know, you're probably talking 60 minutes in each. 1.5 games is what we're looking for Elise, really. Eze, on the other hand, I think is ready for 90-90, which is exactly what you like. West Ham and Newcastle, good teams, of course, but 2 teams that definitely can be got at. Definitely can be got at. Outside of that, a lot of people have been talking about Jota. A lot of people ask me about Jota. Do I trust it? Forward position, so that means you're going to have to sacrifice... Well, who are the big forwards right now? We're talking Solanke, Darwin, Cunha, Mateta. Those are probably the big 4 double game week attackers. Haaland is always going to be in and around that conversation, even in a single game week against Brighton. So is there a place for Diogo Jota? Well, what are his expected minutes, realistically? What are we honestly thinking? Because right now, at time of recording, how many minutes has he actually played? Let's go. Jota. Where are you? Diogo Jota. So, 24 minutes. 24 minutes. And how many did he get in the Europa League? A few minutes again. 30 minutes. Jota is not a mid. No, Jota is a forward. Yeah. Which I think complicates things more, to be honest. How many... Oh, he's a midfielder. Why does it say he's a forward on the other page? Oh, no, I misread it. That's poor form. He was a forward last season, wasn't he? That's what I'm thinking of. It's late, guys. Let me off. It's late. All right, fine. He's a midfielder. Does that make things better or worse? I think it makes it easier to pick Jota. But would you go there, like the minutes? The minutes. What? Are we really? Come on, he's not even started a game yet. Is he even? If he starts in the Europa League, then I mean that makes it worse. You'd want him to start in the Europa League to give you confidence that he can start games. But then if he does start in the Europa League, well, then you think, well, okay, maybe he gets rested in the Premier League. I just cannot see a universe in which you get 2 games out of Jota over the double game week. Chat Sports says, "I'll captain Jota." Well, good luck to you. That's all I can say. I don't think it's a bad pick necessarily. But if you've got limited transfers... I think the real situation here for Game Week 34 is that getting your Liverpool and Arsenal players right is pretty much going to define your game week, because those are the 2 big teams of the double game week. Those are the teams we've all got our eyes on. Those are the players who really can get the huge scores against anyone. They're the high flyers. But if you're going for Jota, not only have you picked up a rotation risk player, you've also sacrificed one of your 3 precious Liverpool slots that could be used on the likes of Salah, Luis Diaz, Van Dijk, Trent Alexander-Arnold, who looks like actually a fairly decent pick at this point if he can get some minutes. Potential injury to Connor Bradley as well, which may even give more minutes to Trent. And Liverpool have to win these games. I think it's if you're making a choice between Jota and Luis Diaz, I think Luis Diaz is a no-brainer pretty much. I think Jota has more chance of disrupting the minutes of Darwin. But, I mean, honestly, Lucas says, is 120 minutes less or more for Darwin more realistic? I mean, I think you're good for 120 minutes for Darwin. I think for Jota, you'd be fortunate to get 90 out of him. That's probably the best you can expect, around 90 to 100 minutes from Jota. You're not going to get more than that. So I just don't think I would I don't think I would touch it, because it means sacrificing too much. If you really want to go there as a differential, then you got to do so knowing the risk. And You know, we've already spoken about risks with the team leagues. This is even more. Diaz, on the other hand, looks very, very solid for minutes. I think he'll be absolutely fine. You know, a lot of Liverpool fans expected Diaz to just keep playing, to be honest, because he has been one of Liverpool's better performers at the moment. And yeah, when Salah is kind of off key a little bit at the moment, you do need to make sure you do have your better performers. I mean, you could argue that Darwin has not quite been 100% at the races, you know, over the recent game weeks as well. Luis Diaz is one of the beacons of hope, really, in this Liverpool team if they want to, you know, claw it back a little bit here, because they've now really dropped in this, well, I say really dropped. It's very tight still, but, you know, they're no longer going to be favourites for the Premier League title, if they even were before. So this is going to be a real push. That means playing players who are playing well. And that means bringing Trent back into the starting 11 and playing him as much as you can. It means playing Van Dijk every week. It means playing Alisson every week. It means playing Luis Diaz, who's been in the best form every week. Salah is Salah. He's probably never going to get dropped, no matter what his form is saying. But I think Salah is more at risk of early substitutions if he continues to play the way he's been playing. So, you know, for a triple up on Liverpool, if I had a choice right now, I'd be going Salah, I'd be going Luis Diaz, and I'd be picking a defender as well. I already have Darwin, so I obviously will be sticking with him. I don't think Darwin is about... If I already had Jota, I wouldn't be selling him. You know, I would still be trying him out, starting him. I mean, 100 minutes from Jota. If you can get to 100 minutes from Jota, or even 90 minutes from Jota, that is better than most other single game week players, at least. So if you have them, start them. I don't know if I'd be going there. Even though Jota has provided some very good moments this season, it has to be said, for a lot of people. There we go. Cal says, the thing is, I would back Jota in less minutes than Diaz. Anyone that's watched us this season would. That's fair enough, but with FPL, you know, you get points for playing minutes. The more minutes you get, the more, you know, more points you're going to get. The more minutes you're on the field, the more likely you are going to accumulate bonus points as well. And over a double game week, this stacks up a lot. So, yeah, minutes are really important in a double game week, because that's the whole benefit of it. You know, if we're not worried about minutes, if you think, oh, Jota's going to play 90 minutes, so, you know, that's still pretty good, you may as well go for him. Well, you may as well go for Alexander Isak. You may as well go for Cole Palmer or Foden or Haaland. Watkins, you know? Many options. Paul with the super chat says, Eze and Darwin or Luis Diaz and Mateta. I think I would have to go the Eze route. To be honest. Because I think I like Eze more than some of those Liverpool midfielders right now. Lalix says, I'd rather 5 minutes of Jota than 180 minutes of Darwin. 180 minutes of Darwin gets you 4 points guaranteed. 5 minutes of Jota gets you 1 point guaranteed. Just saying. We're talking about FPL points, not quality of the football player, or how clinical the football player is. And I know it's useful, that data is useful as well, but on the double game, honestly, the minutes, they are really, really crucial. They get you points for doing nothing. That's the whole benefit, right? Let's go through some other teams. I want to talk about Arsenal. So let's just do it through the predicted points tool. So we'll quickly back on Liverpool. Salah is what am I doing? Salah is the player with the most predicted points there. His underlying data is fabulous. It really, really, really is very good. But underlying data is only useful as long as a player is finishing their chances, and Salah has not been doing that. I hope that he would start to build some form by this point. It hasn't really happened. Second predicted points is actually Diogo Jota, which is fun. Obviously, the predicted points models struggle a little bit with expected minutes of the players, and obviously we all know if Jota's getting minutes, he's getting points. We know that already. But, yeah, I'm not sure if I fully trust the minutes on Jota to actually back those predicted points up. Darwin is in here as well. Luis Diaz is in here as well. Pretty close in fairness. They know 0.2 expected or predicted points separating Jota and Luis Diaz. You know, at that point, Darwin and Diaz are probably your better shouts. After that, Alexander-Arnold Robertson. Love them. Love them as a pick. Love them as picks. If you can go for them, Why not? Virgil van Dijk there, probably the safer option. Maybe a little less explosive. Trent and Robbo going to get you more attacking potential, particularly from the assists, from free kicks, from corners, that kind of stuff. Alisson, would you touch him? I guess you nailed on Liverpool defender for a little bit cheaper than Van Dijk. Outside of that, a few people will probably say McAllister, but honestly, with all of the other options, I think McAllister is kind of a last resort. For Arsenal, Saka leading the way. No surprise there. Penalty takers, always very useful on the double game weeks because you get double the chance of a penalty. Double the chance of getting that luck, which is very, very nice. Very, very nice indeed. So Saka is there, and he's been pretty decent, pretty consistent all season. Maybe not like blowing us away necessarily, but more than worthy of a place in our Game Week 34 teams. Kai Havertz seems to be reasonably nailed by this point, and if he is nailed now, I think he's a good shout. I mean, he's been he's been one of Arsenal's better players recently. Doing really well. I think Jesus coming back into the team, maybe pushing Havertz into some less desirable positions. I think the whole idea of Havertz being an out-of-position midfielder who's playing as a forward in FPL kind of thing, I think that maybe is not as guaranteed as it was before. Partially because Jesus has come back in and we've seen Havertz in midfield. We've seen Trossard on the left. We've seen Havertz on the left. We've seen Havertz through the middle a little bit there as well. But his position is a little bit more variable now. When he is playing in midfield, to be fair, he's still getting in the right areas. So he's still a decent pick, but I don't think he's any longer that out of position forward dream that he perhaps was a couple of weeks ago, which is unfortunate timing with the double game week, but still well worth a pick if you fancy him. Gabriel and White. Like them both. Raya like him. Zinchenko probably wouldn't go there. Saliba, slightly lower expected points, or predicted points than some of the other defenders because Saliba has no goal threat. I cannot emphasize enough. He takes one shot every 7 games or something like that. It really is ridiculous how little goal threat this guy has. He does okay for bonus points, but really we're looking for something bigger, and that's going to come from a Gabriel or a Ben White. Raya, possibility of save points against the likes of Chelsea in particular, but again, it's not guaranteed. I think Raya is the real appeal to Raya is his price tag of 5.1 million. If you can't afford a Ben White, Raya at 5.1, decent. Zinchenko's too risky with the minutes. Jakub Kivior could come in there. He really could. Outside of that, again, probably don't go near any of the other players. Jesus, Martinelli, Trossard, these players are not nailed on. Even Ødegaard, potential injury now. Let's see what the situation is in the Champions League with Ødegaard. We can maybe get a better idea. And outside of that, we'll just have a look at all of the other players. So Eze, high for predicted points. A couple of people asking Eze or Havertz. I think if I had to choose one, I would choose Eze. And I would save that. It's important. When you're picking between an Arsenal player and a player from another, or Arsenal or a Liverpool player and a player from another team, like Eze versus Havertz, I would go for Eze. But I would make sure I'm still getting that third Arsenal player in elsewhere. If I'm going for Eze instead of Havertz, maybe that leaves a spot open for a goalkeeper or a defender from Arsenal. And that's the way I would do it instead. He is the best pick outside of Arsenal and Liverpool, in my opinion. Outside of that, you've got Cunha and Solanke. Cunha predicted slightly higher points, but I prefer Solanke. I think Solanke's got the guarantee of penalties. Cunha is probably on penalties, but you also got Hee-Chan. You've also got Sarabia, who could be on penalties as well. So I don't want to be certain about that one. Solanke guaranteed on penalties. I think Aston Villa and Wolves are two, even though they're away fixtures, I think they are better fixtures for an attacker than Arsenal and Bournemouth. I think Arsenal, turn it straight back on against Wolves. Going to be difficult for Wolves to get too much out of that game. But to be fair, if anyone's scoring, it is probably going to be Cunha. So still a decent pick. Do prefer Solanke. Brereton Diaz is a player we spoke about a little bit on videos so far this game. We spoke about him on the free hit video that I uploaded on Sunday yesterday. And he's a differential I love. Like these fixtures, I said about Eze having really nice fixtures. Sheffield United have the best fixtures this double game week. Particularly if you're an attacker, no shadow of doubt about it. Man United, is a phenomenal fixture at the moment. If you're an attacker, it really is. They're giving up so many chances. Burnley at home, I mean, what more can I say? You know, that's always a good fixture. So I think at a certain point, you do have to put aside your biases about Sheffield United when it comes to talking about some of their individual assets in the team. Because Brereton Diaz has really, really good numbers. So we're just going to go on Sheffield United. We're going to go per 90. If we hide low minutes players, is that going to remove... Yeah, he's going to remove Diaz because he's only played... Well, he's only played 8 games. But if we... I don't know how we can do this. Without... Okay, per start. Okay, let's go per start numbers. Here we go. This is better. So Brereton Diaz per start numbers, it's pretty decent. 0.32 XG per game, 0.11 XA per game. So that rounds up to just under half a goal contribution per game. Now you match that up against 2 really nice fixtures, and we're in business. We're in business. So yes, as a team, Sheffield United may be struggling a little bit this season. Maybe that's an understatement, maybe it's not. But I think we do also have to remember that when you're picking attackers in particular, it doesn't matter as much what the team is doing, but what they can do as individuals. You know, Cole Palmer is a prime example of that, and I know it's an extreme example. I'm not comparing Brereton Diaz to Palmer, believe me. But Chelsea this season have been really, really disappointing, underwhelming, to a point we've all probably at some point said, yeah, I would like to pick Palmer, I'd like to captain Palmer, but I don't trust Chelsea. And how many times this season has Palmer proven that it doesn't matter how bad Chelsea are? The individual is what matters in FPL. And for Chelsea, it matters a little bit as well. So what we've seen with Brereton Diaz since he's come back into this team, against Brentford, 0.47 XG, 0.07 XA. Against Chelsea, 0.29 XG, 0.26 XA. So this is above half a goal contribution expected per game week, which is pretty decent. And it's a decent player as well. Against Fulham, obviously, he gets the 18-pointer, 2 goals and an assist. Very nice indeed. And earlier on, you know, when he played his first 2 games of the season, only, you know, not playing too many minutes, but he scored 2 goals in his first 2 games. He's got 4 goals and 1 assist in 8 appearances. Again, tracks with roughly half an attacking return per game. Again, like I say, matched that up with some nice fixtures. 2 goal contributions is perfectly reasonable over a double game week. Over 180 minutes, give or take. You know, 2 goal contributions if on a good day, 1 goal contribution on a bad day, a bad game week. That's good enough. Good enough. I think he's well worth looking at for a 1-week punt, or for a maybe for a situation where you have a free hit, you fancy a differential in there. I mean, I could technically get to him myself. I don't know if I actually will do that. But if I do like the Foden move, Foden to Brereton Diaz, I could then maybe do like Kelleher to Alisson and get in on the... he's called A. Becker, isn't he, in this? And get in on the defence there from the likes of Liverpool. And then after that, well, to be honest, after that, I don't really know where it'd go. I'd have another Arsenal slot to use up. Maybe I'd do a Stephen to Ben White or something. Take a -4. Do I really want to take a -4? For the sake of benching Zabani? I mean, maybe if Ait-Nouri looks a risk, then maybe I would consider that -4. Because I think it might be worthwhile. Or I could just play... Well, I don't know. But I guess I could. What I'm saying is basically I could go for Brereton Diaz if I wanted to. But I want to, I think the most important thing, if you're not on a free hit, is to just make sure you've got your Liverpool and your Arsenal sorted first. That is priority numero uno. I mean, technically I could remove Palmer and go for Havertz here as well, but I would lose a lot of I'd lose 0.6 million on Palmer. I bought him at 5 million, so I would lose an insane amount of team value on Palmer. And going into Wildcard, 35, I'm not sure that's what I want to do. For the sake of taking a -4, 1-week punt, nah, don't think so. 0.5 team value could go very far on when I'm trying to build a bench boost, you know. JS says, what about Watkins? If you are free hitting, you probably don't pick Watkins. I mean, you're not going to see Watkins anywhere on the highest predicted points because, you know, even if he does do okay, which he very much well could do, all of these other forwards have twice the opportunity, and that really counts for something. So you're not going to take him on a free hit. You're probably not going to take him if you're wildcarding in 35. You maybe take him as a long-term pick, but if I'm totally honest, I look at Watkins' fixtures, and they don't thrill me. So Watkins fixtures, Bournemouth at home. It's okay, but I don't think that's a great fixture. Bournemouth putting up reasonably good defensive numbers. Chelsea at home. Chelsea turned a corner now. Again, it's an okay fixture, but you don't love it. Brighton away is not a good fixture. Liverpool at home is not a good fixture. Crystal Palace away is not a good fixture. Bad fixtures, arguably, for the last two, Liverpool and Crystal Palace. So he could do okay, but if we're comparing him to all of the double game week players we could have, who do you prefer? Ollie Watkins over one game week or one game, or do you prefer... Well, to be fair, this is a loaded question. You guys are going to say Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins more likely to score in one game than maybe, I don't know, Darwin or Mateta is in two, which is valid. But again, like I say, you've got to take into consideration potential bonus points, just points for just playing, and it all stacks up and adds up to a degree that, I just don't think I'll go there. But I know people will regardless. I mean, let's go to the most popular transfers in. Yeah, you can see Watkins right up here. Probably ends up being one of the most popular transfers in. I mean, the fact that Gordon and Isak and Cher and Fernandes and Palmer and Watkins and Guardiola, all, there's more non-double game week players in the most transferred in players than there is none, which fills me with confidence, to be fair, going into this double game week. It makes me think, man, am I going to have more double game week players than the average FPL manager? Surely I will. Because everyone's picking up single game week players. Fine. Fine by me. Fine by me. But of course, there will always be, if every single double game week that's ever happened ever, you're always going to get the odd single game week player that competes with the double game week player. Whether that's going to be Watkins this week, or Isak this week, or Gordon this week, or Bruno Fernandes this week, I don't know which one it's going to be. In my opinion, you're better off just sticking with the doublers, because then at least you got double the chance. Double. Mike says, any Palace defender worth looking at? Munoz is my favourite. Nicholas says, start Haaland or Zabani. Okay, yeah, I think at a certain point, you take Haaland. You take Haaland. I mean, if we're talking about, we're talking about defenders. Attackers are always going to score more points than defenders. And this is kind of chalk and cheese. One of the top forwards of the last couple of seasons in the Premier League versus Zabani, a player that no one had heard of 2 months ago. If we're totally honest with ourselves, people asking me about free hit drafts. Go check out yesterday's video. It's all in there. Scott says, do you think Gribic could be a good differential? Not really. Wouldn't be touching the Sheffield United defence. Even in the best fixture that Sheffield United can have imaginable, you have to remember that Sheffield United are the good fixture, no matter who they're playing. You could take who do you think, outside of Sheffield United, who is the worst team in the Premier League? I guess the table would say Burnley, which is one of Sheffield United's fixtures. Burnley will be going into the game against Sheffield United thinking, oh yes, we've got an easy fixture. There's no way we're not scoring. So, it doesn't really seem worth it. People asking Diaz or Eze. If you're going for Eze, just make sure you, instead of Diaz, then make sure you pick up another Liverpool player. I do like Eze. What about Lise? It's the minutes risk for me. His numbers are hang on, let me just find them for you. They are pretty decent. So let's go per start numbers. So yeah, they are pretty decent, as you can see. I think he was on penalties for a period as well. But he's slightly ahead of Eze in terms of numbers per start this season. I just worry a bit about the potential. What are they like per 90? Yeah, Lise, just ahead again. I I worry a little bit more about the minutes. Look, if you want to go for both, fair enough. HJ Krypton says, can you quickly do a free hit draft? There's already one on my channel. I don't need to do another one. Go check that one out. What happened to Martinelli? Oh, honestly, I don't know, man. I don't know. I really do want to... I don't want to talk about it, to be honest. He was my favourite player. JS says, form over fixture. Isak captain. I don't know if you're trolling me right now. If you want to go for Isak captain over like a player who literally who gets 4 points for doing nothing, then you crack on. Linus says, do we play Palmer next week? I don't know. Arsenal are not Everton, let's be honest. Let's be honest. I know people will be thinking that Arsenal are now the worst defence in Premier League history because they conceded 2 goals against Aston Villa, but I would calm the reactionary stuff down a little bit. Just a little bit. Cal says, would you go for a Havertz or Liverpool mid besides Salah? I would possibly go for Havertz above Diaz, maybe. It's too close to call. Havertz and Diaz, I think, is too close to call. I like them both. I will probably lean towards Diaz, but I like them both. I really do. Danaman says, Mitchell seemed to play higher than Munoz. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's a good point. Because Eze plays on that Mitchell side, and that is useful. That is very useful. Alternatively, you could say, well, Munoz will be the player crossing in towards Elise on the other side, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, there's definitely merit to going for Mitchell instead of Munoz. I think Mitchell actually has slightly higher predicted points as well. Here we go, Crystal Palace, which has taken all the numbers into consideration. And I think the minutes are similar expected anyway. Yeah, Mitchell, slightly higher than Munoz on expected points. But Mitchell has just historically never been a great player for attacking returns. I know he scored this season. It was such... That's like the what's the thing? The exception that proves the rule in many ways. Tristan says, double Arsenal defence or attack. Both are valid. I think you've got to have at least one Arsenal defender though. Tanky says Palmer is essential. I don't think it's essential for a double game week where he plays against Arsenal away. You know, Palmer with the worst fixture possible versus, you know, many other decent players. Maybe not as good as Palmer, but many other great players with 2 good fixtures versus Palmer versus 1 horrible fixture. Palmer may as well have 0.5 fixtures this game week. Maybe I'm being generous. But are we really backing Chelsea against Arsenal? If you are, I think recency bias is maybe coming into play a little bit there. Dan, what are your thoughts on the title race? It's exciting. I can tell you that one. Ruben says, Cunha, Mateta, Havertz, start 2 on free hit 34. Right, if you're picking Havertz as your third Arsenal player, you start him. I cannot imagine a world where I would go into this free hit, into a free hit in 34, and I'm benching one of my 3 Arsenal players. If you are not going to play Havertz, change one of your other players for an Arsenal player. Make sure you've got 3 Arsenal players in that starting lineup no matter what. But I would start Havertz for the record, and I'd probably go for Mateta over Cunha at this point. Palmer has to be at least 9 million next season. Yeah, I mean, knowing the FPL, what they're like, he probably won't be because they like to keep prices low so everyone can build their dream team and have lots of fun. It's not so fun when everyone has the exact same team, though, is it? Tristan says, thoughts on McAllister? I feel like he's the only nailed Liverpool midfielder outside of Salah. Great for minutes, yeah, but not as good for explosivity, attacking threat. I think Luis Diaz is probably your guy. I think Luis Diaz is probably almost as nailed on as McAllister, and you're going to get more out of him. What's your thoughts on double Bournemouth? Zabani and Neto, no free hit. Well, if you're on no free hit and you already have these players, then I guess that's what you got. But if I was on a free hit, I would have 0 Bournemouth defenders, personally. David says, what's the team news on Foden? Yeah, well, sometimes we get early team news, but not quite that early because Man City don't play until Thursday. So it's, 10 days until Foden plays? Linus says it's Ait Nuri a sell. It depends on his fitness. Oliver says, why would you go for Mateta over Cunha? I think Mateta's been playing really well. Really like the look of him against Liverpool. Really like the look of him in general recently. I think with Elise and Eze behind him, that is the dream stuff as a forward, you know, having those two elite. And yeah, I am putting those two players in that category of elite midfielders behind you as a striker. It's beautiful. Obviously, we know Mateta is nailed on, probably more nailed on than Cunha is. Cunha just coming back from an injury, of course. The fixtures for Crystal Palace are vastly superior. West Ham and Newcastle, 2 home games, great fixtures. Whereas, you know, Wolves, I don't think the fixtures are as good. I mean, one of the games is against Arsenal. So that's pretty much tough as it is. Bournemouth, whilst it's an okay fixture, it's certainly not a great fixture. You know, I'd say both. You'd rather play both West Ham and Newcastle than you would Bournemouth. That's what I would say. David, we did speak about the Foden situation earlier on in the stream. I'm not going to rehash it now, but yeah, feel free to watch the stream from the start whenever you get the minute, and you can see for yourself. Mark says, at the end of the season, what rank would you be satisfied with? I don't think I'm going to be satisfied no matter what happens this season, to be honest. Not happy with my rank this year, but we'll go again next year. Just ride out the rest of the season, to be honest, and hopefully we can help you guys out as much as we can. Louisa says, hey, good night. Maguire or Zabani? I have Neto to cover. If you have to start one of them, you probably back the double game week player in Zabani. Mate, any news on Branthwaite injury? A little early. I started streaming immediately after the game ended, so I don't actually have any news yet, but we'll be sure to update you guys. Adza says, hey Dan, is it worth doing a 1 week swap to Eze if it causes -4 down the line to swap back? Yeah, depending on who you'd be benching, then possibly, yeah. Possibly. Why is Neto bad? I don't know, man. He's not bad. He's an okay goalkeeper, but the fixtures, you know, you wouldn't expect him to keep clean sheets in this double game week, really. John says, would you keep Hwang? I think so. I think I'd keep him. I don't think I'd buy him, but I think I'd keep him and yeah, I'd try him out, give him a go. And we've got a super chat here as well from Gitika, who says, should I find a replacement for Hee-Chan? Oh, interestingly, we were literally just speaking about him. Nori as well, would have to take a -4 though. I wouldn't take a -4 to remove Hee-Chan. FPL Amateur says, best defender choice for free hit 34, not Arsenal, Liverpool or Palace. Oh, not Liverpool, Arsenal, or Palace. I mean, previously I would have said Everton, but I have to admit, after today, I'm not as confident in that one, really. I mean, what's the predicted point saying? They'll probably say Everton. They're actually not. They're saying Amadodzic. Interesting. Mikalenko, Branthwaite. Well, Matt Branthwaite could be injured now. So Mikalenko, I guess you go for against Forest and Liverpool. But after that, I'm not convinced. Do you go for a Wolves defender? Could they get a clean sheet against Bournemouth? Maybe. Sheffield United could get a clean sheet against Burnley, but you would never back it. Could Bournemouth keep a clean sheet against Wolves? Probably not against Aston Villa away. I don't know, man. I don't think there is a good answer there. I don't think there's a good answer. So Hill says, who is more nailed for Liverpool, both games, Trent or Robbo? Probably Robbo at this point. Trent may need to be eased in a little bit more. We'll see what happens. You know, I think, you know, both for Liverpool and Arsenal, we need to keep a close eye on the minutes in midweek in Europe before we make any decisions. Ideally, not making any transfers before then as well. Frustratingly. Best goalkeeper outside of Liverpool and Arsenal? Definitely Henderson at Crystal Palace for me. Yeah, no doubt about that now. Previously, I might have said Pickford, but I was leaning towards Henderson anyway. I think tonight's confirmed that. Dean Henderson at Palace is the one. Is Salah worth for -4 selling Palmer? Not sure. Not sure about that. No, not if you're going to have to buy Palmer back, maybe for another -4 later on. Doesn't seem worth it. Right, I think we'll wrap up here, guys. For the record, 63% of people reckon that Eze is essential for Game Week 34. Which is a lot. Interesting stuff. I'm glad. I'm going to say I'm glad I have him for the double game week. I mean, we'll see where we go with transfers and stuff. But Eze is going to be there, and I'm looking forward to this game week a lot. But there we go, guys. If there's any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments as we wrap up this stream. Do leave a leak. Leave a leak. God. Thinking about leaks too much, guys. Thinking about leaks, all I can think about is team leaks at the moment. That's like that's the flavour of the day, isn't it? Leave a like if you wouldn't mind. That would be really appreciated. Do subscribe. We did a tier list video earlier today, if you want to check that out. We did a full free hit guide, including all of the top players, and a free hit draft at the end of that video for Gameweek 34, double Gameweek 34. That was uploaded yesterday. Do go check it out if you'd like to, if you want to know more about free hit stuff. But we're going to be back tomorrow for Buy, Sell, Keep, Avoid. Always good fun. Interested to see what the experts are saying on Wednesday. I'll do my team selection on Thursday. Hopefully we have enough information by then to start making some decisions. And then, yeah, it'll be almost go time. Saturday, slightly later deadline this week, by the way, guys. 1:30 p.m. UK time, depending on where your time zone is at. You go. The deadline is basically a couple hours later than usual. But that's fine. That means I get to be a little bit fresher for the deadline, which is always nice. And we'll be going a little bit earlier on the deadline stream as well. We'll see if we can get any game week leaks for you. But if you don't want to follow the leaks, completely understand that one as well. Let me know, by the way, in the comments what you think about all the leak situation. I'd be keen to know your thoughts. But there we go. Thank you for watching today, guys. Do go check out another video if you would like to. But if not, I will see you tomorrow for Buy, Sell, Keep, Avoid. And I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.